next polish I have to show you guys today is from Maybelline. This is called Citrus Collide. And this was one of their neon pastels that came out a couple of summers ago when neon pastels were like all the rage. For whatever reason, I thought that I needed neon pastels and I didn't want to splurge on any other like pricier brands, I guess. And so I decided, why not just pick up the ones from Maybelline that I saw. This is a pastel yellow with a little bit of like a slightly lime undertone to make it a little bit more neon, I guess. I wouldn't necessarily call like neon pastels neon, like true neons, because I just feel like they're mostly pastel. But yeah, that's what the first coat looks like. It's streaky and like milky and your typical neon, or actually your typical pastel formula. So yeah, that's the first coat. I'm gonna go in now with the second coat of Citrus Collide, and this gets pretty much opaque in two coats. There is a little bit of streakiness left, which is just because it's a pastel and I didn't paint my nails very carefully. The thing with pastels is that I feel like a lot of them are very finicky, so you have to be careful with them while you paint your nails in order to make them look nice, and that's just too much of a hassle for me. Like that's just too annoying for me. So I don't wear a lot of pastels anymore unless they are like mixed in with hollow, in which I feel like they're a little bit easier to work with just because something else is mixed into the formula other than just like the pastel formula. So yeah, that is what two coats of Citrus Collide looks like. So here's what Citrus Collide looks like up close. This one I am going to destash just because I don't really like the formula very much, and I don't actually wear this one very often. So yeah, this is going to get destashed. The next color that I have to show you is called Lime Accent. This is another one of those pastel neons from Maybelline. And this is a more green version of the color that I just showed you. This one definitely is like a lime color, but this one has a little bit of a different formula. It's got a little bit more of like a cream formula than just, or like a regular cream formula, I guess, than of a pastel. So it's a little bit easier to work with. And again, I don't find this to be particularly neon. It is a very bright lime green color, but not like super pastel neon. So yeah, that is the first coat. I'm gonna go in now with the second coat of Lime Accent. And this adds quite a bit of opacity in the second coat, where you can see the first one was really sheer, but the second coat definitely adds quite a bit of color. It is still a little bit sheer, so I will do a third coat. This is a very nice polish though in terms of like applying on itself. It doesn't drag or anything. So yeah, that's the second coat of Lime Accent. I'm gonna go in now with the third coat of Lime Accent, and this gets fully opaque in 3 coats. Again, it adds quite a bit of color, but is quite easy to layer on itself. So yeah, that is 3 coats. So this is what it looks like up close. This one I am also going to destash. I just don't wear it very often. So yeah, this one is going to go. The next color that I have to show you is from Pop Beauty. This is called, it's called Loud Lime, and this is a really, really bright neon green color. This one I got so long ago. This was when Pop Beauty, do you guys remember at like CVS, they have like some CVSs have like a CVS 360 or something, Beauty 360, and it was like a more high-end but not quite high-end like section of CVS, and they had Pop Beauty there, and they had some other random like sort of high-end things there, and that's where I got this polish, I think. I'm like 90% sure. It's either that or like Rite Aid had it, I think. So either way, Pop Beauty was like kind of a thing for a while. People were like, it was popping up in random drugstores and people were kind of talking about it, but not that much. And Loud Lime was one of the colors that people were talking about. So I picked it up. As you can see in the first coat, it is a very standard neon and pastel type of color. It's pretty streaky and not all that flattering in the first coat. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Loud Lime, and this actually does get opaque in 2 coats if you layered it up correctly, and again, don't mess with it too much after you put the polish on. So yeah, this is 2 coats. I just remember that this really was like a color that people were like, oh, it's so pretty and all that stuff, and so I picked it up because YouTube made me, essentially. So yeah, that's 2 coats of Loud Lime. This is what Loud Lime looks like up close. I am going to destash this one as well because again, I just don't wear it. So unfortunately, it doesn't really have a place in my life, so it's gonna go. The next polish I have to show you is from Barry M, and this is the Jelly High Shine Nail Paint line color in Key Lime, and this is actually something that I was given from a friend, my friend Jess, who lives in England. She was my friend Andrew's girlfriend, and they're like still friends, but they're not that that matters to you guys, but she lives in England, and she would always bring back like English beauty products for me, and if I sent her a wish list, she would like go and look them up for me at like Superdrug and Boots and stuff. So yeah, this was one of the polishes that she brought back for me when she came to visit one year, and I remember these were a really popular polish as well amongst at least the British YouTubers, because they were like they were essentially a gel like nail polish finish in a regular nail polish. So yeah, I just remember seeing this, I think at least Fleur, I saw this on Fleur's channel and then some other channels, and they were raving about these polishes, so I asked her to pick some up for me, and this is one of them. In the first coat, it's actually got a pretty decent coverage to the point where I feel like I could have gotten a 1 coat mani out of this, but I didn't, so I'll do another coat for you guys, but it is a pretty thick nail polish. It's got a thicker formula. I'm gonna go in now with the second coat, and this gets fully opaque for sure in 2 coats. Again, it is a little bit of a thicker polish, so if you, I don't even know if they still make these actually, but if they still make these and you do pick them up, just be careful that it can get pretty thick pretty easily on the nail. But yeah, it levels out really nicely. You guys can see that it has quite a beautiful coverage and quite a nice shine. I know it's not completely dry, but it has quite a nice shine to it, and it's a really pretty color. So that is the Barry M color in Key Lime. So here's what it looks like up close. As much as I really like this polish and as great as like I think the formula it is, I think this one I am also going to destash just because I have quite a few greens. But yeah, if these are still available in the UK, like if they still make these, I do recommend checking out this line of polishes by Barry M. The next polish I have to show you is from Wet n Wild, and this one is actually called Nerd Alert Screech, because this was part of a Saved by the Bell collection that they did a really long time ago. When I say a really long time ago, I mean like back when Say Anything Brooke was still making videos and stuff, because she actually was the reason that I bought these. She was raving about these on some sort of video at some point, and she was showing these off and how they were neons, and then this one in particular caught my eye because I thought it was as close as I could ever get to China Glaze's Limonite, essentially. This is a really bright green with a gold shimmer running through it, and China Glaze Limonite is one of those polishes that I have wanted forever, and it was discontinued and like rare, and I'm never gonna get it, so this is as close as I'm gonna get to it. It is very pretty though, and in the first coat it's very sheer, but it does build up really nicely. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Nerd Alert Screech, and this does get opaque in 2 coats. Again, it's the closest I'm ever going to get to China Glaze's Limonite in that it's a bright green with a gold shimmer. So yeah, it's really pretty and it's very summery and very fun. So that is 2 coats of Nerd Alert Screech. So this one I am going to keep. This is actually one of my favorite bright greens. I feel like I say that a lot about like this type of bright green, but I really do love this color. This one I wear a lot on my toes in the summer, so this is going to stay in my stash. This next polish is from Milani, and this is in the color Dressmaker, and this is actually a polish that I bought really early on when I started collecting nail polish and started my YouTube channel and my blog and stuff. And I sought this out because this was reportedly to be a dupe for for Chanel's Jade polish. Chanel's Jade was, when I first started blogging and YouTubing around 2009, one of the most like sought after Chanel polishes of the time. So, and like Chanel nail polish was like way out of my budget and definitely something that I really coveted. So when I found that Milani Dressmaker was a dupe for it, I went and like immediately went and searched for a bottle of this at my local CVS, and I actually picked up the last bottle at my CVS. So yeah, it's very sheer in the first coat. It builds up pretty nicely, but it is a jade green with a really delicate green shimmer running through it. And as far as I can tell in photos, it is a dupe for Chanel's Jade. But yeah, very, very pretty, and it builds up pretty nicely, but very sheer to begin with. I'm gonna go now with the second coat of Dressmaker, and this adds quite a bit of color to the previous coat. It still is pretty sheer though, so I will add a third coat. And by pretty sheer, I mean in that first coat it looks still like really, really see-through, but yeah, it's so pretty and so delicate of a green that I feel like I have no other polishes like this in my collection. So yeah, that's the second coat of Dressmaker. I'm going to go in now with the third coat of Dressmaker, and this does actually get fully opaque in 3 coats. It may not look like it will because it was so sheer in the first 2, but look at that. It gets fully opaque. So yeah, it's again a very pretty color and a very unmatched color in my collection. So that is 3 coats of Dressmaker. So here's what Dressmaker looks like up close. It's really hard to see the shimmer, but this one I am also going to keep. I really do like this tone of green with that shimmer running through it. So yeah, this is going to stay in my stash. The next color that I have to show you is from Revlon, and this is in the color Minted, and this is a classic Revlon color, but it is also a classic mint cream. This is one of the mints that I wear all the time as well. I feel like this one I tend to pull for more than some of my other, like my China Glaze mints or like my Essie mint colors, because this one just, I feel like really nostalgic using this one. I just feel like this was another one that like everyone really loved, and it's actually really not that bad of a nail polish, but it's definitely one that I bought because everyone on YouTube was talking about it, and it's just so pretty. So yeah, that is the first coat of Minted, sort of your typical standard pastel cream finish in that first coat, but it does build up pretty well. I'm gonna go in now with the second coat of Minted, and as you guys can see, it does build up really, really nicely to the point where it is opaque in 2 coats. It's pretty easy to work with. Yeah, I don't know if Revlon still makes this polish. I actually don't know if they still have like this line of polishes like in this shape. I know that they have been changed, you know, like Drugstore in the last couple of years has really revamped pretty much all of their branding and all of their lines, and I feel like all of the stuff that you used to be able to find really easily before is not as easily found anymore. So I don't know if they still make this one, but it is a really pretty mint color. So this is what Minted looks like up close. This one I am on the fence about. I'm going to keep it just to compare it to all of my other mint colors at the very, very end of this series, but for now I am going to keep it. So yeah, that is Minted by Revlon. The next polish that I have to show you is another Berry M color. This is in the color Greenberry, and this is like a bright turquoise color. I don't know what a Greenberry is, but either way, yeah, it's really pretty. And again, this has a very similar formula to Key Lime. It is on the thicker side, but it has quite a decent coverage. In the first coat, you can see that it does cover quite nicely. I will do 2 coats of this one as well, though, so you guys can see how it builds on itself. So that is the first coat of Greenberry. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Greenberry, and this gets fully opaque in 2 coats. And just like Key Lime, it's very easy to work with, really pretty, really nice and bright, and it has a nice shine to it when it dries. So yeah, that is 2 coats of Greenberry. So this is what Greenberry looks like up close. This one I am also going to destash just because I have a lot of colors that are very similar to this, so it is going to go. The next color that I have to show you is another Wet n Wild Saved by the Bell color, and this one is called Chick Magnet Zack, and it is a turquoise with a bright blue shimmer running through it. The rest of this collection was actually like neons. There was a neon yellow and a neon pink. I think there may have been a neon orange. I don't quite remember, but these 2 are the ones that I actually kept. I don't think I have the neon. No, I don't have the neon yellow anymore. I do have the pink, so I'll show you that when I get to the pinks. But yeah, this one is actually pretty easy to work with. It covers pretty nicely. You guys can see that it's not all that entirely streaky or that sheer either. So yeah, that's the first coat. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Chick Magnet Zack, and this actually gets fully opaque in 2 coats. This one was the easiest to work with out of that whole collection, and Yeah, it's really pretty. It's got, again, that shimmer running through it, so it's not just a regular turquoise, and the shimmer is actually pretty strong as well. So that is 2 coats of Chick Magnet Zack. So here's what it looks like up close, and as much as I really like the formula of this one, and as much as I really like the color, I am going to destash this one. I do have quite a few turquoises, and the shimmer is really pretty, but it's just not enough for me to want to keep it. The last polish that I have to show you is not technically Drugstore, but it lives in my Drugstore drawer because I have only one Gap nail polish. This is in the color Bright Pool, and this came out a couple of years ago, and when it came out, people made a huge fuss over it because it is a dupe for a Rescue Beauty Lounge polish. I believe the polish was called Aqua Lily or something along the lines of that, and it is a bright turquoise with a really, really beautiful flash of pink running through it, like a pink shimmer running through it. And it was one of those Rescue Beauty Lounge colors that I didn't purchase because it wasn't in my budget at the time, and I actually wasn't working with Rescue Beauty Lounge at that point either. And it was a limited edition polish, so by the time I could afford to buy it, and by the time I was working with them, it was actually not an available polish anymore. So the Gap polish is the polish that I actually picked up to dupe that one. So that is the first coat. It is pretty sheer, but it does build up pretty well. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Bright Pool, and this does get fully opaque in 2 coats. It's really sheer in the first coat, but it builds up pretty nicely. And yeah, this is the only Gap color that I own right now. I actually have had a couple of Gap colors in the past, and they're not bad polishes. The polishes that I owned in the past were like, it was like a baby pink and then like a vampy red because, you know, Gap's not a beauty brand. So generally they have polishes that are just kind of generic everyday polishes for people. But yeah, this one is not terrible and it was pretty easy to work with. So yeah, that's 2 coats of Bright Pool. So this is what Bright Pool looks like up close. This one I am going to keep for now, and I'm going to compare at the end with all my other turquoises. It is very pretty, and it is pretty nostalgic for me. So yeah, that one is going to stay in my stash. So these are the 4 colors that I am going to keep this round. I hope you guys liked this video. If you guys did, if you could give it a thumbs up, that would totally make my day. If you guys could subscribe, that would also totally make my day. And then otherwise, I will see you guys next week for the next Swatch My Stash video.